seen anything like that. No good. Wide right.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going into the end zone. The Bears have won. The Bears have won. Oh, my God. You believe in miracles? Yes.
It's the Davey Max Sports Program, where we talk the sports and other stuff like cake. I eat it all the time. Chocolate cake, vanilla cake. Hell, I'll eat a urinal cake if it's there. I'm Roy Harder, and here's your host, Mr. East Side Dave McDonald, baby. There he is.
Thank you so much, Roy. Thank you so much. What an introduction. You really take your time with the introduction, and you sell each and every joke. You know? You don't just run through it. Like, I'm Roy Harder, and my favorite thing is cake. And like chocolate cake, and vanilla cake, and urinal cake. Anyway, here's your host, Eastside Dave McDonald.
I don't have much time, Dave.
Slow down!
What?
Slow the fuck down! You're the announcer!
I'm
Relax!
I'm
Chill!
I'm just excited to get to our
All right,
guest.
do an introduction again. Slow it down. That joke, that was a good one today.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
God damn.
It's the Davey Max Sports Program,
There it is.
where we talk sports
Yeah.
and other stuff like cake. I eat it all the time. Chocolate cake.
Woo!
Vanilla cake. Hell, I'll eat a urinal cake if it's there.
Wait, what?
I'm Roy Harder. And here's your host, Eastside Dave McDonald.
All right.
Yeah,
That's more
Wow.
like it. Yeah.
baby.
That's more like it.
Wow. Woo.
That
Okay,
was a
take it
lot
back.
better. And at the end of that one, you said that you eat urinal cake sometimes.
Sometimes, David. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that one was the best introduction that you ever had me write for you. Right directly before the show. So I wanted you to take your time. But listen, Roy,
Yeah.
we have a very important special guest that we're not going to keep hanging around like one of these little minions, one of these little twerps who's got nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do. We need to talk to someone who's important, someone who's powerful. Dare I say, someone who is the elite of his industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest video game player of all time, Billy Mitchell.
I know he doesn't eat the urinal cakes.
Not at all. Roy,
Really?
I have a little good news for you. Sometimes Dave comes down hard on you, but when I'm on the show, it's the one time he's not allowed to cuss at you, so you get a little break.
That's
Thank you, Billy.
a good point.
Thank you, Billy.
That's a good point. I forgot about the cursing. There's no cursing. Now listen, Roy, guess what Billy's doing? We booked him on because we're actually a professional show and we're booking people weeks in advance, which is why Flutzy can't get a second appearance because she keeps saying she wants to do the show. And I keep saying to her, fine, here's a list of dates. And she keeps saying this. Yeah, well, because of my waitress job, I don't know if I'm going to be working that night or not. And I'm like, well, then you can't get booked in advance, lady.
Yeah.
But one of those spots that she wanted was today. And I said, no. I said, even though he's on the road in a Winnebago,
Whoa.
he has committed to doing the Davey Max Sports Program. Billy Mitchell, that makes you a legend. Just everything about you is legendary.
That's called diversity. I like being first. I think I'm the very first one ever to do your show from the road in a Winnebago. Good point, right?
I mean, number one, no one has ever done this before. But Billy, I'm pretty sure no one's ever done this, period. We might be having a broadcast first because I'm in a stationary home and you're in a mobile home.
Right.
And that's got to be a broadcasting first. Stationary home to mobile home broadcast. I think that has to be one for the Guinness Book of World Records, Bill.
Right. And you're in the ghetto of New Jersey. And I'm in the country of Texas. Good point.
I mean, ghetto is strong. I mean, obviously you've seen the wall of crap behind me. I labeled this thing Davey Mack's wall of pop culture. And look who's the star in the middle, Bill. That's me and you right there in the middle. The King of Kong poster that Billy did himself. And yet he took out Steve Weeb's head and put you know what? Here's one. Here's what it looks like right here.
I couldn't zoom in on my phone.
That's it. And that's the poster. I got all kinds of extras. And people are always like, how can I get one? I go, you can buy one from me. $200. What, I gave a bunch of free ones out at one point in my life. It's time for the Dave Man to get some. It's time for Roy Harder to get a little something. And Billy Mitchell and Robert. I thought Robert had told me to shut up before the show today. And I was ready to break my laptop into a million pieces. I thought I handled this tardy starting time with a lot of class and coolness. And then all of a sudden, I'm trying to call Billy Mitchell, and I thought I heard someone say, hey, shut up. We're trying to talk.
I think he was talking to me, David. He wasn't talking to you, that's for sure.
Oh, that's a good save, Roy. I will Pete Townsend this computer.
Dave, I would never tell you to shut up, buddy.
Yeah, Robert's like the most respectful guy. Have you ever heard him tell someone else to shut up?
No, I guess not. And Bill, we have to thank you. You're actually the professional in this thing. We told Billy, hey, Bill, it's going to be 3:30. Stay in your Winnebago. Billy's been sitting in his damn Winnebago. It's 117 degrees. He's been sitting there for 5 hours now, saying, what the hell is this? What kind of, circus is the Davey Mack sports program running? I go like this. Bill, sometimes there's issues. Robert had massive New York City traffic problem, and I'm just going to put it out there, Bill. I had a diarrhea issue, and I had to I had to get rid of some shorts. That delayed me. Roy, we all know what Roy's delays are.
Yeah, well, your situation sounds pretty crappy.
Now, Billy, actually, I have so much to discuss with you today because I'm really excited to talk to you today because you know why? And by the way, Roy has a few questions for you. And we promised if he's going to be, respectful and kind, he can ask one every once in a while, but not yet, Roy. Bill, I just rewatched, and I know, I love King of Kong so much, but I actually just rewatched another documentary that you're in called Chasing Ghosts. And that one I seriously love. That one takes all of the guys in the Time Life magazine, the cover picture, and it kind of does like a documentary on those guys. And it's got you, and it's got a lot of people. Todd Rogers, that kid Ben, it was Ben something. And in the documentary, I remember you saying that kid Ben was like the best player that you had seen. I would like to know, how many of those dudes are you still in contact with? Do you talk with those? Do you ever play games against any of those guys? What's your status with the Chasing Ghosts guys? Because while King of Kong is one of the greatest docs ever, this is a phenomenal doc if you're just looking for that class of like 1983 video game players that Billy is a part of.
Okay, in that, basically I play a good guy as opposed to the villain.
That's true.
So it does get a little less attention because it's always more fun to be bad than good, as we know. I'm still in touch with Ben from time to time. I'm still in touch with Steve from time to time.
Steve Sanders.
Yes. And Walter Day from time to time.
Okay.
One guy, two of the guys have passed away. One guy went to prison for a long, long time. You might know him. Then,
of course, Dave knows.
Yeah, everyone who's a convict somehow I know. That's what crime. He associates me with crime.
Up until there was one guy that could never, ever, ever be found, ever. Not even by the movie company had professional people trying to find everybody, and this one guy they never found. And then about a year ago, just on a hunch, I made a phone call and he answered the phone.
Who was it?
His name was Dave Nelson. He's the blonde, curly-haired guy in the back.
Yeah. No, I remember.
And he's not in the movie because they never found him. But I did find him, and when I go to California, I'll eventually say hi to him.
Oh,
and
cool.
I found him because his daughter had such a unique name. I had never heard anybody with this name before. And when you looked on Facebook, she was the only one with that name. So a phone call was made to her, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that's my dad," and she gave the phone number. Sometimes the old-fashioned detective work works better than the fancy stuff.
That's pretty well, Roy, I'm actually we're in a good groove here. I don't know why you want to interrupt, but I did notice that you put your finger up.
Yeah,
and so
quick.
could you
Real
just
quick,
get
David.
to your first question?
Real quick. Hey,
okay,
Billy.
Get to your first question before Robert tells you to shut up again.
Fair enough.
And maybe Robert was right.
Hey, Billy. Roy Harder here.
Why don't we get to your second question and skip the first one altogether?
Wait, I want to hear what his first question is. Go ahead with your first question. I don't even know what it is.
Hey, Billy. Roy Harder here. Probably the single best Roy to ever play a video game. And I'm looking at you, Roy Schilt.
Oh.
Yeah, you may call yourself Mr. Awesome or whatever.
Okay.
But that missile command score is mine, you little weasel. I'm the only Roy around these parts. Anyway, thanks for taking my call, Billy. I'm going to hang up and listen to your response.
Okay, you know what? Apologies, Bill. You were right. I was wrong. He brought up that guy from King of Kong, the missile command dude. And no one likes him. I don't like him either.
Well, apparently Roy likes him because he's just like him.
No, Roy, I think Roy was trying to talk trash. He said that Roy is the number one Roy. Yeah. And then were you just going off on Mr. Awesome right there, Roy Schilt?
I did. I called him a weasel.
Yeah. So Roy has your back, Bill. This is Roy defending you, calling him a weasel. But Billy's right. That was unprofessional. Get to your second question, and then I got more about, actual stuff.
Hey, Billy. Roy Harder again here. Anyway, I wrote a song for you, so please listen up. Sing it to the tune of Michael Jackson.
That's stage directions for you. It's in parentheses. You don't say that out loud on camera.
Okay. Well, am I singing the verse or the chorus?
You sing the goddamn song to the tune of Billie Jean. It's so simple to figure out. Can we read our emails before the show, maybe, guys?
Of course. Billy Mitch does not love Frogger. He's King of Kong, and he's like a lager. Billy Mitch does not love Frogger. He crushes Pac-Man and video game bloggers.
Ooh, all right, not bad. But that was pretty good, Roy.
Thanks, Bill. Who said that? That was you, David?
That was me.
Thank you, David.
But I was hoping more for Billy. Weren't you with Billy Mitch is not into Frogger. He gets a guy, and I was a dogger in one. That's that kind of thing.
Well, that's why I asked if it was the verse or the chorus, David. I wasn't quite sure how you wanted to scan the lyrics. I couldn't quite figure it out.
Good point.
But good thing that you sang it for me, demonstrated it during the bit. Thank you.
You're trying to kill you are trying to kill me today, huh? It's one of those. I do so much work for this show, and it's just totally ignored until a second before airtime.
Of course not. That's just a small sample of the song so far, Billy.
Billy, back to you.
Okay, so Roy tries to find a niche, but he ends up being nothing but chick.
No, I love Roy so much, Bill, but he drives me berserk.
Yeah, that's a short drive.
Billy is on fire. All right, Bill, I got another one. So recently, I realized that on Nintendo Switch, I can play Atari games, and I downloaded this mega Atari set of Atari 2600 games and even Atari 5200 games. My favorite being Yar's Revenge. Question for Billy. did you ever play Yars' Revenge? Am I the only person who likes Yars' Revenge? And B, Atari. Like, what is Billy's thoughts on Atari? I know you're an arcade god, but my point is, what you know, did you play Atari when it came out? Did you buy a system when it came out?
I played Atari when it came out in the arcade. I never played the home system.
Right. Okay, that's what I was asking.
Okay, Atari was awesome because it laid the foundation for that which would become, and probably amongst the strongest elements of the golden age of video games. It laid the foundation for what it is we have today, and we've had ever since Atari. As we know, Atari went by way of the dinosaurs.
Yeah, did you have you ever seen another video game documentary that I'm high on called Atari Game Over? Have you seen that?
No, I actually have not seen that.
So it tells a double story of kind of the rise and fall of Atari, but also it tells the story of they look into this urban myth. If Atari buried like 100,000 or 1 million ET games somewhere in New Mexico because the game was such a horrible game. And so they actually get like an archaeological crew and an excavation crew to go down there. And they did, in fact, find the games. Atari buried. They hated the game E.T. so much that they actually went to New Mexico and buried like thousands and thousands of copies of the game. But it's a pretty interesting doc, Bill. But and I would watch yourself. So is any game system your speed, or you're strictly like at home in the Billy Mitchell residence? Do we have full-on arcade units, or are we dealing with a combination of Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, and then maybe some consoles? What does Billy do?
We absolutely have full-size arcade cabinets. Sometimes they rotate in and out. I got a friend that I just borrow them from. I don't have any home systems at all for a couple of reasons. Number one is I'm not going to spend 16 hours a day to get good at them like I did in the arcade when I was a kid. And second of all, my son, my daughter, my wife, every one of them could beat me at those systems. So I don't want to play them. But okay, I want to step back. I want to tell you a secret. Only Mr. Dave would know. We're going to unveil it here.
Oh my God. I am so excited. You know, Roy, Billy Mitchell always brings breaking news and the biggest scoops in the video game industry, the biggest news scoops. So this is exciting.
Yeah, you want a snare drum roll or something like that?
Maybe like on your head or something.
Okay, Atari buried all of those ETs, somewhere in New Mexico. The urban legend is, and apparently it's been verified.
Yeah.
The world's largest arcade, where so many of the greatest games existed. They had 1,200 games at one time, where so many of the best players came from, where so many different high scores were set. That arcade had a roller coaster called the Hurricane. A number of years back, the Hurricane was torn down when the arcade was torn down. And the Hurricane, the actual wood that made up the roller coaster, the Hurricane, is buried up in northern Florida. And it really is buried in northern Florida.
Wow. That is strange.
I don't know all the reasons why. I mean, I've heard the stories. And one silly story, and I'm sure it's not true, is that they were following the example set by Atari, which I'm sure is not true. But
I'm just confused why they would bury the wood in the first place.
Why they bury the ET games? You would think you could repurpose the plastic and you could repurpose the wood. It's just weird.
There's actually a YouTube about it that I'll send to you.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
About it another time. But it was incredible to me how and why everybody fussed over this roller coaster so much. The roller coaster wasn't any good. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And basically it sat idle for many years. Even in the final years of the arcade, it wasn't being used. So eventually, when they sold the property, they had to tear it down to clear the property. And then when they tore it down, they had nothing they could do with it without violating something or offending somebody.
Wow.
So,
you know what? I'm seeing a new podcast, a new Davey Mack podcast, Billy Mitchell's Urban Myths, hosted by Davey Mack and Billy Mitchell. And we just talk about, famous urban myth legends and stuff. Let's go rapid fire, Bill. Loch Ness Monster? Yes or no?
Some of them are real.
Yeah.
Some of them are myths.
Bigfoot, Bill.
How do we determine which one is which?
Exactly. Bigfoot, yay or nay? I mean,
well, I'll get you the evidence on that.
Okay. And finally, the UFOs that have clearly taken over Roy's brain.
Yeah, that was an easy takeover.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of defenses. Oh, man.
Something tells me Roy's on the edge of his seat with another question.
All right, Roy. I think Billy's asking for it. I think you don't bother Billy as much as Big A Andrew Gold, who also has asked questions. What's that, Roy?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I was actually talking to my friend Big A Andrew Gold, and he's actually very confused about something.
Oh.
And now I'm confused about it. So I'm sorry if we've asked you this before, Billy, but this is important. Is Cubert's nose a penis or a vagina?
Okay, Bill, we're not going to talk about that. Bill. No. We're going to move. We're moving on from Cubert. And I was upset when Andrew asked this.
With that in mind, whenever I see Cubert's nose, I always think of Roy. So either way, it's fine.
Now, Bill, when Billy's at Fun Spot, okay, because I told you I've been to Fun Spot. It's the Yankee Stadium, for me at least, of video games. Just it's phenomenal, right? No? Where's the best arcade in America, Bill? What's the best arcade that I should be checking out?
Well, you're in New Jersey. Who's kidding who? You should go to Fun Spot. What is it? 5 hours? It's no.
I go to Fun Spot. I told you I've been to Fun Spot. I love Fun Spot.
Okay, next one.
The one that I saw you at was the Ram Arcade in South Jersey.
The Ram Arcade in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Yes, absolutely. What is it? A 1 hour drive from you? You're there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And he's supposed to be opening up at number 2, and he's coming up on his 1 year anniversary.
Well, I am going to personally invite you to my favorite arcade. It's actually technically a pinball museum. However, they do have at least 12 to 20 retro retro arcade games, your Donkey Kongs, your Froggers, your Pac-Man, so on and so forth. This place is called Silverball. It's the Silverball Museum of Pinball. It's right on the water in Asbury Park, New Jersey. It's phenomenal. You pay your $12 and then you get an hour, no quarters or anything. Once you're in, you're in. You just push the button and the machine starts. And not that you only need 1 quarter, but the rest of us schmizbos need multiple quarters for Donkey Kong. So if you're ever in the New Jersey area, Bill, I am personally inviting you right now officially to Silverball. You and I are going together. By the way, it's BYOB. I'm going to bring a 30-pack. You drink as many as you want. I'll drink as many. We'll have an impromptu, beer off. We'll get liquored up, loaded. We'll play lots of Donkey Kong and then skee ball. I'm going to take the ball and slam it as hard as I can. And just we're going to cause a scene. TMZ is going to be like, oh, my God. Billy Mitchell drunk at Silverball. But trust me, it's going to make you look like the Axl Rose of video game players.
Okay, but we're on the water, so you're gonna buy all the hot dogs and pizza I can eat, deal?
Oh, 100%. I'm not sure you're gonna want some of the pizza. Silverball's got great games. Their pizza, Bill, it's that kind of cardboard arcade type of pizza where you go. Yeah,
BYOP, bring your own pizza.
Billy, more questions for you in terms of what is Bill doing right now? These days, like right now, is there a record? Is there a tour? You're in Winnebago. I don't know if this is a vacation, if you're on the run from the police, or is this a world tour of some kind? What's happening here?
Well, this is a family tour that I'm on.
Oh, that's nice. Vacation.
And I sacrificed a couple of things. I sacrificed the Southern Fried Gaming Expo in Atlanta last weekend, which is one of the most awesome shows. And I sacrificed the Donkey Kong World Championship down in Australia, which 2 years ago I won. We'll get to that later. But I actually have two things that I really, really got my hands on that I'm working on that naturally I'm teasing you. One of them's domestic, the other one's international.
Whoa!
And, yeah, it'll make headlines if I can pull it off.
Oh my God! Is this? You don't have to say what it is, but are we thinking a record attempt?
Oh, it'll definitely be something, yes, that no one has ever done. Yes.
Right.
Whoa! I hope it's not a mass shooting. That's all.
A what?
I hope it's nothing dangerous. It sounds like it could be dangerous.
He's a video game player. He's just going for a video game record. It's not what you thought.
Thank God.
Thank God is right. Why don't you ask your fourth question?
Fair enough. Hey, Billy, Roy Harder here again. Billy, sometimes
what's your
when
name?
I'm playing asteroids, I think to myself.
Wait. What's your name?
You almost got me, Billy.
Oh, wait. If you're going to ask me about asteroids,
yes,
I could have guessed that.
Go ahead, Roy.
All right.
Okay. No, he's going to ask me about asteroids. I can tell because let's just say, the first syllable of the word asteroid makes me think of Roy. But go ahead.
Hey, Billy, I bet you Jose Canseco is good at that game, right? Huh? Actually, now that I think
what do you
about
mean?
it, you're right.
Hold on. Because hold on. What? What about Jose Canseco?
Well, like Billy said, asteroids has the word ass and roids in it, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I bet you Jose Canseco is good at that game too.
All right.
right, Billy?
Yeah, no, the laughing is what got me. Okay, please.
I apologize.
We have to move on from you.
Yeah, that's outside of my level of expertise.
Billy, we're gonna do a little bit of sports. Okay, we record these shows on Monday night, and it's the home run derby, the Major League Baseball home run derby, and you got two stories as far as I see it. You got the New York Mets, Pete Alonso, who is going for a three-peat. Ken Griffey Jr. has won 3 home run derbies overall, but no one ever won 3 in a row. 3 in a row is what Pete Alonso is going for. But that's only story number 1. Story number 2 is that Albert Pujols, the St. Louis Cardinals first baseman, he's been on the Angels for many years, but Pujols is now back on the Cardinals because the National League has the DH, and Pujols has entered the home run derby. It's his final season in Major League Baseball, and Pujols. Wait a second, Billy. I think I know what's happening. Don't adjust your computer, Bill. Billy, it's not your Zoom, Bill. Bill, it's not your speaker, okay? Robert, the show engineer, producer, director, whatever the heck he is, he hears the name Pujols. See, it's a Spanish name, Bill. Pujols. But see, in the Latin, that's pronounced Pujols.
I thought you were pronouncing it with a K. Say it with a K.
Pujols?
Koo, as in Brian Koo. That's what I thought.
Pujols. Brian Pujols.
Yeah, I thought you were watching The King of Kong one too many times.
So anyway, Bill, basically what I'm saying is good luck to Albert Pujols. All right, Bill, on to serious business. Robert's just having a good time. You know, the kids, the millennials.
Let's go back to that for a second.
Yeah.
And think about this, because this is something we do in the gaming world that isn't right. You have a true champion, any one of those, who has won 3 home run derbies. You'll have another one, a true champion that has won 3 home run derbies. You'll have another one, maybe, who's won 3 home run derbies, and it's 3 in a row.
Right.
And all 3 of them, when it's done here, will still be hailed as champions. They are forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the gaming world, if I play a game and I beat your score, even though you were champion and I beat it by this much, it's always, oh yeah, that guy champion. Oh no, he's not champion anymore. He got beat. Oh, put him out the pasture.
Right. I'm seeing your point.
In the gaming world, we're a lot harder as a sport than most any other sport is.
You know what?
I mean,
That's a hell.
Fran Tarkenton is a champion. He never won a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. He's a champion. You know, Tom Brady's going to retire, and somebody else is going to win a Super Bowl.
That's true.
He's still a champion.
Yeah, that's true.
But
is
in the
true.
baseball world, I want to see him do 3 in a row, and we're going to see if we put the other 2 guys out the pasture and never talk about them again.
Well, okay, so this is an issue. Obviously, it's a personal issue that you're having, and I do want to explore this. I think it's a really interesting point. Basically, what Billy's saying, Roy, is, you know,
Yep.
Billy, see, here's my contention. And, you know, I've tried to keep it positive and not kill all the Billy trolls and the Billy haters today. Because it gets tiresome that these little envious weasels, as Roy says, weasels, they're all jealous. They're all jealous because they're not in Pixels, because they're not in King of Kong, because they're not in Chasing Ghosts, because they're not in pop culture. They have made no mark. And yet these little maggots, they say things like, well, Billy scored 900,000 points in 1983. That means he's forever a champion, you dope. Don't you understand? He competed against everyone else on the planet in 1983, and no one else on the planet in 1983 could get, 890,000 points, which Billy did. You understand? That means you're a champ. And I agree with Bill. Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. I call Mike Tyson the champ. Everyone calls every ex-boxer who's ever won a world championship the champ. So if you get a high score, a record, just once, that means you're a champ for life. And so these little people that always try to, Billy, stop it with the petty jealousy and recognize when you're looking at Billy Mitchell, you're looking at the champion of champions. That's all.
I appreciate that. But what I was actually trying to indicate was I was trying to show my respect towards somebody.
I guess I went a little overboard, Bill.
Like Ken Griffey Jr. Again, he'd always be the champion. People look at Jimmy Carter and they still call him Mr. President.
That's right. I do all the time. I go, nothing that happened after Carter's reign even made my radar. He's the last president I ever had. Go ahead, Bill.
Jimmy Carter?
That's it. No, I don't care anything after his reign. I could care less. Go ahead, Bill.
I don't know. I got lost in the idea. Okay.
No, yeah.
Well, we don't talk politics.
Hey, Bill, real quick. Just because of the Winnebago, you ever seen About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson?
No.
The whole movie is him in a Winnebago, but I will say it's because he's having a bit of a mental breakdown and like a crisis in his life. That's not going on with you, right?
No, I didn't have to wait for the Winnebago to do that.
He's such a good. Billy. We have to do a podcast one day.
No.
But that would mean you would have to commit to at least a monthly show.
Well, the breakdown I had was my wife said I want to see the country, so I got behind the wheel, and that was it.
Nice.
So,
well, how's the trip going? I mean, what are we doing? What are we seeing?
So far, so good. You might say she took me or directed me to New Orleans. We were on Bourbon Street. We had every bit of the food and good stuff you have on Bourbon Street. crawfish, all that kind of stuff. We keep going. We saw the Alamo.
Jambalaya.
Like that. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Roy, why don't you ask your fifth question here?
Billy, Roy Harder back on the line here. Listen, I have a question about the game Galaga. I play it all the time at my local pizza, and recently I noticed some little SOB beat my score. It's a two-part question, Bill. A, how do you reconcile having your score beaten by some little deadbeat who doesn't even have to go to work? And two, is lethal force justified in this case because that kid is currently in the bottom of the Hudson River feeding the fishes? Thanks, Bill. Oh, and also I'm going to need a lawyer, Billy. Thank you.
Billy, it sounded like he confessed to homicide, and I don't even want you approaching that question because Roy will make you an accessory to a crime, and we don't need that. We don't need someone who is a great American. You could see it on his tie. We don't need someone going down to the slammer because of what Roy, and let's be honest, his anger issues.
I do have anger issues.
Your score got beaten at your Galaga, at your pizza place, and you're saying you might have murdered
what he's
a youngster.
What he's upset about is a young punk gave him an ass whipping. That's what he's upset about.
That's what he said. That's what you said, Roy. Roy,
That's
you
right.
said that. Billy's right. You admitted that.
I admit it.
Is there, since we're on the subject, is there anything else you'd like to confess to?
Well, I mean, well, I have a question.
You do have a right to an attorney.
I do have a right to it. Fair enough, Billy. Fair enough.
What's your next question? You said you had another one?
Oh yeah, I did have a question about marathon gaming because sometimes when I'm trying to set a record on Centipede, my fingers get tired, from the thing, and my vision gets a little blurry, and then I'm having a problem maintaining erection. Thanks for letting me share. Thanks for letting me share that, Bill. Let's keep that last part between me and you, or I'll sue your ass for violating the HIPAA law.
All
okay.
All of those are because of extreme old age, Roy. Accept it.
Roy, I can't believe we have the greatest video game player of all time, and you're saying on the air you're having trouble maintaining and achieving an erection, which I don't believe, Bill, has anything to do with Centipede. I don't think Centipede, the video game, is causing those health issues that Roy is currently experiencing. I mean, I don't think he should be blaming Centipede, is my point, Bill. I'm a video game guy just like you.
My urologist says I should move over to back to Donkey Kong.
Can we please?
Yeah.
It's too crazy, even for Bill. And by the way, I did hear that you were gonna sue him for violating a HIPAA law. Billy's not your doctor.
Not yet.
Well, you couldn't do that lawsuit. Wouldn't work. He's not your doctor. He's not violating HIPAA.
If I was his doctor, he'd be in a straitjacket.
Billy, sports. Are you into them, or
Absolutely.
Are you? What does Bill watch? Does he have any teams? Does he have any athletes he's a fan of? Give us a little thing of Billy Mitchell's favorite sports stars and or teams, because I'm curious.
Favorite sports stars besides myself. Usually it's particular individuals. Sometimes it's players, sometimes it's personalities, it's coaches. Just an example, and I mean this sincerely, this is not humor. Can you think of anybody in the history of the NFL who has done more for the game? And when you contribute on the field and off the field. Can you think of anybody who has contributed more than Terry Bradshaw?
Terry Bradshaw?
Yes.
I personally can.
Well, what I mean is he was a great quarterback. He led great teams to great championship. And that's actually probably the least significant part of what he has contributed for about 3 decades now.
Well, what else has he done besides, cackling like some, Southern hayseed on Fox NFL Sundays in that studio? He's always laughing.
Well, no, you're correct. Not that you and Roy know anything about cackling, nothing.
It's a good point.
He keeps you on your toes, and he keeps you entertained, and he keeps some of us interested in football, even at times when we might be discouraged.
All right, but I'm going to say, in terms of the NFL, someone who's had more of an impact would be either, I mean, modern day, if you're going to be quarterbacks, I would say obviously Brady first and foremost, or on a pop culture level, if that's what you're going with, Terry Bradshaw, Peyton Manning, you know, with all of the Saturday Night Live appearances, David Letterman appearances, he's a very mainstream-ish guy now.
Well, no, you're 100% correct, and I'm a big fan of Tom Brady's, but I don't want to make a judgment of him right now because it would be great. I don't want to make a judgment now. I want to see how does he close out his career, and how does he continue to support the sport or hobby as it goes into its future.
Very
I hope
interesting.
he does as well a job off the field as he does on the field. Sincerely.
I got to tell you, Roy, it's a hell of a hot take.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw would not be my choice for the most impactful NFL player of the last 50 years, but Roy Harder, I want to play this game. I want to play this game. This is good sports talk right here. Roy Harder. Do you have a name?
I didn't say he was my choice. I challenged you to pick somebody more qualified than him.
Well, I listen. When it comes to the pop culture thing, I gotta go Brady. Because of the 10. Look, the fact that I
agree with Brady, but he's still playing.
You're right, but think of it like this: Terry Bradshaw and the Pittsburgh Steelers became national because they were always in the Super Bowl in the 70s, or at least that was our perception. But at the end of the day, the Steelers were actually in 4 Super Bowls. Now think of how mind-boggling this is if you're a kid, today's day and age. Tom Brady has made it to 10, and he's won 7. He's made it to 10, and he's won 7 of them. The numbers that Brady has put up are so staggering. I mean, honestly, I would compare it to a Billy Mitchell in 1983. I'm being serious. Donkey Kong score to Steve Sanders, who, Steve only could muster up 150,000 on the live event with Life magazine, and Billy got 890,000 with Life magazine. The difference was so staggering that it's almost shocking. It's like Babe Ruth in 21. He had more home runs than all but 2 teams in the American League. All but 2 teams. He hit more home runs than most teams. His numbers were so far above. Billy is one of those guys. And I think just due to Super Bowls, I would have to put in Brady, even though obviously I'm an Eli guy. I'm a Giants guy. But I got to be fair about it. It's the Davey Mac Sports program, and I take sports seriously.
Okay, so Tom Brady, you're correct. First of all, I'm glad he doesn't play video games, if that's a plug. Right? But second of all, let's go over to baseball. You mentioned Babe Ruth. Think about baseball's history, and who did more for baseball than Babe Ruth?
No one. I don't. Well, okay. If we're going to do some kind of, like a social issue thing, I suppose Jackie Robinson.
What about Lou Gehrig? Got a whole disease named after him.
No, but he didn't do anything for. Well, I mean, he's a great player.
People still have the Lou Gehrig disease, so I mean.
Yeah, there's on that same subject on the opposite end, Joe DiMaggio has children's hospitals and stuff that he's done.
That's right.
But I mentioned Babe Ruth because even at a time when baseball was going through such a difficult time and scandals, Babe Ruth kept people coming to the ball game.
Boom. That's right. Look, to me, I think the question that Billy's asking is basically, who is each sports guy? And I think it's a legit question. For me, it's simple. Basketball, Jordan. Hockey, Gretzky. Baseball, Ruth. And right now, I got to say, football, Brady. Because of the numbers, 7 wins, 7 Super Bowls, 7 victories, and 10 appearances. Again, it's just, the same thing that Gretzky had. He scored so many more goals than anyone else. The same thing that Jordan did. He dominated people. And the same thing that Ruth did. And the same thing that Billy Mitchell does.
You're correct. I don't think anybody ever played baseball as good as Ty Cobb. But Ty Cobb off the field eliminated his potential to have the honor that Babe Ruth has.
And though the only thing about Cobb was it was also in the dead ball era. And Ruth, he popped up when they tightened the ball so the ball would fly out of the ballpark. And obviously that worked to his swing. And Babe Ruth is literally who put home runs in fashion. Babe Ruth changed the game of baseball because before Babe Ruth, starting pitchers could just pace themselves and go in. Well, after Babe Ruth, starting pitchers had to exert more and more of themselves, and that then created the bullpen. So Ruth is like just because he hit more home runs than anyone else, he actually changed the game on multiple levels. But I love this question, Bill.
Wouldn't he have also made the Hall of Fame kind of based off of his pitching stats as well, even if he didn't take his hitting into play, Dave?
You're right. I mean, Babe Ruth was he was an incredible pitcher. At one point, he had the World Series streak for most consecutive shutout innings. It was like 26, 27 consecutive World Series innings with zeros. Pretty impressive. Roy, you have another question?
Real quick. Hey, Bill, it's your buddy Roy Harder in the house.
Roy, somehow I think we got off the true topic of video games, started talking about sports. Something tells me you're going to bring us back to the more important topic of video games, but I'm listening. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, speaking of video games, if I ever invented one, I'd call it shooting my neighbor Vincent with a crossbow because his freaking oak tree is still hanging over my property. You're a dead man, Vinny. Anyway, you think a game like that would work with the kids, Bill, or?
No, I don't think it would work because a game with a title like that, you can't fit it on the marquee.
You can't. How is that supposed to? Pong, Roy. Pac-Man, Roy. Frogger. Short.
I got to be thinking.
I believe what the name of your game you wanted to be shooting my neighbor Vincent with a crossbow because his oak tree is still hanging over my property. ... You're a dead man, Vinny.
Yeah, maybe you should just call it love thy neighbor or something.
Oh no! Hate thy neighbor, Bill.
Yeah.
Crossbow thy neighbor?
There is a game called Crossbow. I don't know if Roy's good at it.
Bill, my game, I wish Yar's Revenge was an arcade game because you'd be so impressed with how well I play Yar's Revenge.
Here's one for you. There was a game called Crossbow, and the sequel to Crossbow was Cheyenne. And do you know who was one of the best players there was, period, on that game?
No.
Roy Schultz.
Babe Ruth.
Wait. It was?
Roy Schultz, Missile Command Roy Schultz.
Same guy?
Same guy. Roy's idol.
Huh.
Or Nemesis, Billy.
Or Nemesis.
It seems like
Nemesis
Roy is very it seems like Roy is very protective over the name Roy and only feels like there's only room for one Roy. Thank God Roy Scheider's dead. Otherwise, you and him would get into
there's a very fine line between love and hate. So keep an eye out.
That's it.
Yeah. When Roy Rogers died, I popped the champagne. Had it at McDonald's.
I can't believe you would do that.
How about Rob Roy? He must have had a lot of those.
Look, I think we've done enough because we've all been working so hard and we deserve a little game time right now. Davey Mack clearly is going to go play Yar's Revenge. I can't get anyone to play Yar's Revenge with me. I don't know why no one likes Yar's Revenge. Billy, if there was one old school arcade game that I could master, because I was playing actually a few games at Fun Spot, all of them are impossible. The only game I have any remote chance at is Frogger. That's the only game I could beat multiple boards on. Is that a easy game? Is that what I'm saying?
No, Frogger is actually very simplistic, but is actually extremely difficult to score high on.
How come I'm good at that?
No, you're not good. You're just better at that than you are the other games. However, let me Frogger's a great game, but let me give you a sincere answer. I'm always asked, how is it that you get better and better at a game and better? When you play, you probably hit the game and cuss. Take where you died, backtrack a few steps, look where you chose A instead of B, and there's where your key is. There's where your decision is that led to your death. When you get to A, don't do the same thing again. To die again, to die again, to die again. That's insanity. Choose another option. I want to give you a sincere example. This has been on my mind for at least a month.
No, I love this. This is good. This is good. I feel like I'm getting batting tips from Ted Williams right now. Go ahead.
Well, it's been on my mind because this weekend was the Donkey Kong World Championship. Now, as we discussed, I went there in 2019, and I came in first place. My son came in third place. The guy that I edged out for first place, who ultimately got second place, his name is Shane, a good guy. He was the runner-up this year. The guy that my son edged out, and my son got third place, his name's Matt. He actually is the one who edged out Sean for the first place this year. Congratulations.
Wow.
But what I've learned over time that makes a difference is when I went to conventions, I would make mistakes. When I went to conventions, I'm trying to score this or I'm trying to score that. I'm making this mistake. I'm making that mistake. What I started to do differently, one of the more recent Kong offs here in the United States, I got up there and I was playing and I was immediately swinging for the fence. I mean, I wanted a killer score in order to qualify for the final round. I mean, a killer score. And I had such a good game going. Had I made it to the end, it would be, one of the best Kong off scores there was. But because I'm swinging for the fence and I missed my goal, I don't even qualify for the final round. So what I started doing differently after that was I simply started trying to qualify. So when you're playing Frogger, simply try to get a little better score than what you did. When you have that satisfaction, then you can swing for the fence. It's been on my mind, and as I look back, that was something that I changed around 2019, because in 2018 I missed the qualification. It was in Banning, California. So simply be happy with the baby steps you make and simply accept the victory. Then afterwards, for your own satisfaction, swing for the fence.
No, that makes sense.
So I've absolutely been obsessed with this for
I love this.
So why didn't I start doing that so many years ago when I would just constantly swing for the fence?
Right.
Again, mistakes I made, times I came up short at a convention, because I'm always critiquing myself. I'm mad as hell that I didn't get this score, or didn't get that score, or thought I would get this, or thought I would get that, or I was prepared to get it, and I didn't. Now, normally, I go there and I get what I want. And then, of course, just for the satisfaction, I swing for the fence. We were talking baseball. That's my analogy. I don't know.
No, that's phenomenal. I love it. In fact, I mean,
if it's understood, if it's understood, I want you to explain it back to me. You're on the spot.
I will give an analogy that is actually sports. Again, we're going back and forth. You know the video games, I know the sports. And it's similar to, if you're playing the first round, we were just talking football, so we'll keep it football. If you made the playoffs and you have a first round matchup, you should not and cannot be thinking about the Super Bowl. There is a stage ahead of that. There's multiple stages ahead of the big game. You need to be focused on the little mission, the mission that builds up. Another mission on top of that builds up and builds up and builds up until you achieve your glory. But the glory can't always be achieved right out of the box. You got to build up to it. You can't win the Super Bowl just because you make the playoffs. You have to win like 3 or 4 playoff games. So you have to take it one step at a time. I think I know what you're talking about, Billy, and I love it. Actually, Billy, I have a question about this, though. When you play Donkey Kong and or Pac-Man, Do you usually play the same way twice? Like, do you play the same way every time?
Well, I have the same knowledge. I try to have the same control within the game, but both games have a level of randomness. Therefore, it takes a greater knowledge. One of the reasons why Donkey Kong is the most difficult game is it has such a tremendous level of randomness to it.
So you can't memorize the barrels and stuff like that and take the same, like basically I'm saying the same route, the same jumps, the same ladders. You can't like memorize it because the game will change.
Yeah, there's always a variation within it, always.
See, this is so enlightening today.
That's one game that absolutely comes down to skill. There are some games that are otherwise, but that's one that comes down to skill. And the players who are really great at it basically can react to whatever's thrown at them.
Well, I mean, this was the best. I think this was the best video game talk we ever had because I actually learned a lot. I feel like I'm going to be a far better Yar's Revenge player when I go hit my Atari 2600 now.
But the next thing when you come back, you're going to be able to tell me that your Frogger score has raised.
Frogger, but right now I'm just killing Yar's Revenge on Atari 2600, and my current high score is 70. It's in the 70,000s. But after the Billy Mitchell inspiration, I'm gunning for 100,000 points.
All right. So next Monday on your show, you'll be able to announce to everybody you got 100.
I'm going to try. You're putting the pressure on me.
Don't wait until Sunday night to play.
No. I've been upset. I've been playing the game every single day. Yes, I'm a game guy. I usually stick with Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, all your little Marios. But after I got this Atari 2600 pack, oh my God, I've been playing. Yar's Revenge literally was my favorite game when I was like 7 years old. So I'm in heaven right now.
Since we're on the subject of next shows, you know how, because you're a wrestling guy.
Heck yeah.
People don't realize it because you're sitting down. They don't realize that you're really 6'11", right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Keep your shirt on, please. All right. But you really had a lot of fun when I went and I did my AWE with Miro, remember?
Absolutely. You killed it. AEW, but yes, you killed it.
Yes. The next show that I'm on with you, we're going to be talking about another awesome wrestling interaction that you're going to like even better.
I loved your spot with Miro on AEW where you both played the video games and there was a little tongue-in-cheek reference to cheating, and everyone knows that Billy Mitchell never cheats. Everyone knows this.
I'm ready.
Bill, is it Hulk Hogan?
You're absolutely going to be jealous of the next event I have that's coming up soon. I'll have it before I'm on your show.
Okay, this is fantastic. Well, we have to book Billy again, maybe for September, because now I can't live without knowing who he's going to talk to. Is it a wrestler?
He's almost as big a name as you. How about that?
Ooh. Oh. Almost as big a name as me, Roy.
No, he's in the world of wrestling, in the world of his success, being 100% serious here, he would be somebody that I would admire. And that's me.
So he is a wrestler, though. He is a wrestler.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
We talk about these different people. When I speak, like we talk about, you mentioned Michael Jordan. You can like him. You cannot. It doesn't matter. You can, whatever opinion you have, what he did better than anyone in the world.
Period.
So when somebody works that hard at anything they do, I have a level of admiration for them. Well, with this next event, there'll be somebody involved there that I have that same level of admiration for.
Oh, this is going to be awesome. Okay, I can't wait. Well, listen, we're going to go.
I even wonder if you ever had the privilege of working with him. He's that much of a big shot.
Oh, Billy, I can't wait. Roy, do you have a guess?
Maybe we'll do pay-per-view. No.
Oh, Roy, give us a guess. It's a wrestler, famous wrestler.
Famous wrestler. I'm going to go with Tito Santana.
Robert.
What's so funny?
I know. I love Tito Santana.
Yeah, he's a champion, man.
I know.
Go ahead. Let's hear this, Dave. I want to hear. Come on.
While Tito Santana is a former Intercontinental Champion, Roy.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy's talking about it. He's been an English teacher in North Jersey for the last 25 years. That's what Tito Santana does.
That doesn't take away from the fact that he's Tito Santana. I got more respect for him for being a teacher in New Jersey than I do for him being a wrestler.
Robert, do you have a guess?
Well, he said it's somebody like you in wrestling, so that's got to be somebody who's done a bunch of different things, kind of transitioned from one field into another, and I think that really narrows it down to two people. Billy Mitchell said it's the him of wrestling, so it's either The Rock. Obviously, he went on to do media, movies, and become a celebrity. Or it's Hornswoggle, who went from wrestling into political commentary, into podcasting. I'm guessing it's one of those two.
All right, hold on. I like the
Hornswoggle
Hornswoggle thing, but I think Robert was more on the track with Rock. I'm not going to say Rock. I'm going to say John Cena.
Well, both of you are seeing the situation well, because remember, I always consider somebody who's great at something what they contribute on and off the field, in and out of the ring. It's not just
Cena
one-sided. So
Cena.
with that in mind, I'm going to tell you, Zip.
Cena.
I knew
It's
it was
Cena.
Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas.
He's naming IWF people that he's worked with when me and him worked in the IWF. We still do, by the way. Well, actually, I do.
Right.
Roy hasn't shown up to our last two pay-per-view events, for crying out loud.
I'll tell you who it's not. It's not. It's not Dave Mackey. It's not.
All right, listen, Billy. We have a home run derby to watch, but listen, I want to thank you for being on this episode. It was highly enlightening. We've never talked so much video games, but I actually legitimately feel like I've gotten excellent advice and pointers, which I will honestly be applying to my Yars Revenge game. I swear to God, I will be applying this. And I got to thank you for that. But I also got to thank you for the years of entertainment. I mean, I'm watching King of Kong. I'm watching Chasing Ghosts. I'm just watching this stuff this past weekend. And I'm watching so much Billy Mitchell. I'm looking at the poster that's behind me. And I'm saying, my God, I don't know how many more people, celebs, are actual American heroes. But Billy Mitchell is one of them. American hero. Greatest video game player of all time. And if you got a problem with that, I got two words for you. Suck it.
Every show, David.
I know, Bill. That was a Degeneration X reference. They were a group of wrestlers who said that in the 90s. I just thought we were doing the wrestling things.
Alrighty, sir.
Is anyone else, Robert?
Dave, there was one sports story that reminded me of Billy. Did you hear about Devin Allen?
No.
He was competing in the World Track Championship, and he came off the block too fast by 1/1000th of a second. So basically, he heard the gunshot, left when he heard the gunshot, and was just too fast. And it reminded me so much of Billy because they disqualified him from the race for being too fast. He didn't cheat. He just was too quick for their timing.
Some people, it's hard for others to understand their awesomeness. And the first thing they run to is they must be cheating. There must be something wrong with that person. They must have taken a shortcut. They can't comprehend that their talent is limited.
Exactly.
Not Billy's, not this track runner's,
Well, he's
not
also-
Michael Jordan's. Their talent is limited. Free your mind. That's all.
He was
Roy
a-
Harder, anything for Bill before he goes? He's
No.
in Winnebago. He's off to the Grand Canyon, Roy.
That's why he's got my salute. And have a safe and happy journey, Billy.
Do you want to apologize for some of those questions? I mean,
I want to apologize for everything I've said. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I like that. Across the board, I apologize to him for everything I've said.
Everything.
Well, that's overdoing it a bit because most of what he said I didn't hear.
Billy, we will talk to you again, maybe a month or two, if possible, when some news emerges, maybe the fall. Is that okay with you?
I'm ready.
Billy Mitchell,
always
the greatest.
ready.
Listen, the greatest video game player of all time. His name is Billy Mitchell. That's Roy Harder. That's Robert O. I'm Davey Mack. Thank you, Billy. Good night, everybody.
Way to win.